Alright, I'm getting ready to start a little drainage work here at the house. This driveway here all slopes from the skid steer towards this sidewalk I'm standing on. And after big rains, water pools up all along this front edge here. And it eventually will go over this sidewalk into that building, through that planter box, along down the side of the building, and then out. I've got a French drain down there off that corner downspout, and it goes off the hill there. So I originally started this where I was going to tie into a downspout that I've got that runs out this way, and then I was going to run a line all the way out to the ditch. And after shooting some elevations, I decided to go a different direction. So I'll show you here and kind of why I chose that. So I'm going to put a catch basin right here in this corner, the lowest spot, and I'm going to run perforated pipe all through here. And I'm going to run till I tie into a downspout line right here in this area, which is also a low spot. So this spot collects a lot of water right here, and it'll hold it pretty good. I've got a downspout coming off right there, and you can see it's buried with some corrugated pipe, and it used to run right out to here, but that was the low spot that held so much water. So then I extended it around this back side, and it comes out, and there's a catch basin right about there, and then that allows it to flow down slowly, but flow out to the ditch. Now, instead of doing that, there's a bunch of utilities out there, our cable, internet, and things like that, and water line. And it's actually a little bit shorter. What I'm going to do is I'm going to pull up that catch basin. I'll probably just leave this line underground and just, abandon it for now. And then I'm going to find the line in here, and I'm going to put a catch basin right here that has an inlet and an outlet. And the line from here is going to come, and I'm going to put a Y into this line. So then I'll have a catch basin over there for that water, catch basin here for all this water. The downspout's going to be coming into this catch basin as well. And then coming out of this catch basin, I'm going to switch to SDR 35 smooth wall pipe, 4-inch. I'm going to go through here, through the driveway. I'm going to come across, I'm going to 90 right here and head back. And I'll probably put a clean out in here somewhere so I can clean out that 90 if I need to. And then also be able to shoot water down that way to clean it out. And then I'm going to run straight back and daylight out that hill out back. And it ended up being a slightly less distance, and I don't have any utilities to deal with besides one power line that's coming from this barn underground and going to that barn. But I buried that. I should be able to find it, and I think I'll be over top of it anyway. But then you can see I've graded a swale out. We'll see when we get down there further, but there's a swale coming off this corner that goes out, and I'm probably just going to be able to daylight into that somewhere. So there's another downspout line coming off the building. It goes underground here with French drain to collect water from this area, and then it shoots out, and there's a catch basin down the hill somewhere right down there. So I think this line will come out over here somewhere. Maybe it might come out in this swale. I'm not sure if you can see that, but there's a swale here like that. So again, the reason I chose this way is a little bit shorter, and I've got a sheet here to look at some elevations we'll look at and kind of explain again why I decided to go this way rather than out to the road. So here's the sheet I got made up. I'm a civil engineer, so maybe I get a little carried away with this stuff, but these are all the elevations I shot of the different locations. So that's the building right here in the corner, the planter box that's low. That's the corner point that I'm going to turn where that 90 is going to go. This is about halfway down that line headed towards the back. That's the top of the swale in the back, and that's the bottom of the swale in the back. So I shot these elevations just based off a arbitrary instrument height there. And then this is the length of each run in between the building and the planter box is 57 feet. Between, to go across the driveway from the planter box to where that 90 is going to be is 27 feet. So got each of those measured out here. My overall distance is about 231 feet. but I don't actually think I'll have to go that far. I'll show you here in a second. And then this here is my invert. So on this first one, I want to stay really high, because the lower I go here, the deeper my entire line is going to be, you know, throughout the entire system. So I've got that only 6 inches depth to the invert of the pipe, and the invert of the pipe is the bottom flow line, or where the bottom of the pipe is, or where the water runs. So 2 reasons I'm doing that. One, again, like I said, is the entire system will be deeper for every inch that gets deeper. And 2, I've got the electric coming to this building, the first building, that I'm going to be watching out for, so I just want to stay up in the air and out of that. So this one here, I just put a depth in. Now the next one is I put a slope, and I only put a 0.25% slope on this, and that's going to make the invert at the planter box 94.31, which is just below the 91.46. Then from the planter box over to across the driveway, I'm doing a 0.5% slope, and that'll make that invert over there at the 90-degree corner 94.18. And then from there all the way out to the back, I'm doing a 1% slope, that whole back line. And I'll show you why I've got those different percentages here. Which these two are a little low. It's nice to have 1% everywhere, but again, that just gets you deeper further on. And this being a French drain type system, you know, it's not a high flow. It's just infiltration through the ground until I get the downspout in it in that catch basin. So this over here, this shows this top line is the existing ground level at each of these spots. So the first one here, again, by the building, by the planter box, across the driveway, about halfway down the long run, back corner of the building, and bottom of the swale. So you can see here actually that the elevation of by the corner of the building, the first spot, is lower than the 2 spots I've got by the planter box and across the driveway. So the ground level is higher. That means the water that hits this surface, the rainwater, is going to flow towards that building. Now that stinks. So that's why I'm going to put this catch basin over here. This bottom line is the invert of the pipe then. So I've got it here being 6 inches deeper than existing grade, and then I'm going at this 0.25% slope to the planter box, and then this is across the driveway. I'm doing a 0.5% slope, and then this is the whole line going out the back at 1%. And you can see here that if I made this 1%, then this dot would be deeper. Then if this was 1%, then this dot would also be deeper from that, compounding onto this, and then that would make this dot way down here really deep. So just due to the existing ground level and the fact that you know, we're lower where we're starting versus where we're going to, you know, that's not good. That's why I'm running this less amount of slope, because I mean, it'd be nice if this ground level here was higher up, if up by the building was higher, then, you know, I could have good cover throughout this whole pipe, but I don't. So, and this, you can see, if I run that 1% slope, this bottom line comes out and daylights out of the existing grade before the entire 231 feet. 231 that's 200, that's 250, so that's 231 right there, but I daylight out about 205. So that's why I said I probably won't do this whole 231 feet. I'll probably end up a little bit short because I'm going to daylight out in that ditch. So that's an overview on the paperwork, and I guess we'll go get started. Alright, so this is where we're going to start our French drain with our first catch basin here at the low spot at the corner of the building. So I've got my laser set up. It's set up at the negative 0.25% slope, which is going to make it slope down as we go towards the planter box. And the first thing I'm going to do is, you know, this rock here is about my existing grade, so I go ahead and I got this set for this existing grade here. Now, I said I was going to be 6 inches lower than this. So what I do is I raise this up 6 inches. And what that's going to do then is make my bottom of my hole be 6 inches deeper than this rock right here. Alright, so I just raised it up 6 inches. So now again, you know, if I slant this down, I can pick up the reading. So when this is plumb, I'll be 6 inches deeper than here, and that'll get me started for my trench, and I'll keep digging back at that slope, back until I hit the planter box. So I'm going to scrape back some gravel and whatnot, and the reason I did this first is because I'm going to scrape this gravel back to save it, and then obviously put it back. So I don't want to lose, you know, this grade I had. I probably could have used this sidewalk here and matched that, but being a little lower would probably be a little better.